Welcome back to the channel World Coins, master coin collectors and treasure hunters from all over the world. If you're passionate about US coins, numismatic mysteries, or the incredible stories behind tiny pieces of metal that have changed hands countless times across generations, then you're in the right place. Because today, we're diving into the astonishing tale of one small coin with a huge story, the 1971 D1 dime from the United States. This particular coin, against all odds and logic, has become the center of an extraordinary legend, a marvel of minting mishaps and historical curiosity, and perhaps the most mysterious dime ever struck in the United States Mint. Its shocking estimated value? A jaw-dropping $13 million. Yes, you heard that right, $13 million for a 10-cent piece minted over 5 decades ago. How can this be possible? What errors or circumstances could lead to such astronomical worth for a coin most people wouldn't look twice at? Could one of these still be hiding in your change jar or tucked away in an old drawer passed down through the family, or is it already sitting in the vault of a private collector who understands its value far better than the average person ever could? Let's rewind the clock and explore everything, and we mean everything, that makes the 1971 D dime such a compelling part of numismatic lore. This isn't just about a coin. It's about a time period, a set of historical conditions, an intricate dance of minting technology, human error, collector passion, and market speculation. We'll peel back the layers of the coin's origin, analyze the Denver Mint's processes, examine the types of errors that may have occurred, trace the rise of this dime's legend in the collector's market, and explore the theories and evidence that support its unbelievable value today. To begin our story, we must first understand the historical backdrop against which the 1971 D dime was minted. The year 1971 was an important one for American coinage. It came during a period of substantial change and re-evaluation for the U.S. Mint. Following the removal of silver from dimes and quarters in 1965, the nation's coinage was now fully composed of clad metals, primarily copper-nickel compositions, with no intrinsic precious metal value. This change had a profound impact on how coins were produced, perceived, and collected. The U.S. Mint, particularly the Denver branch, had been adjusting to this new metallic landscape for several years by 1971. Yet, despite the experience gained, errors, sometimes massive and costly ones, still occurred. The 1971 D dime was just one coin among millions. Over 300 million dimes were struck at the Denver Mint that year. To the untrained eye, they all looked the same: Roosevelt's familiar profile on the obverse, an olive branch, torch, an oak branch on the reverse, the small D mint mark representing Denver. It was supposed to be just another dime destined for circulation. But somewhere within those hundreds of millions of coins, something went wrong, or perhaps more accurately, something went incredibly, mysteriously, and uniquely wrong. It said that the most valuable 1971 D dime ever discovered was found entirely by accident. A collector examining a large batch of circulated coins noticed something unusual about one particular dime. The features on the coin seemed distorted, not worn, but struck with unusual sharpness in some areas and odd doubling in others. The mint mark was strangely malformed, appearing partially repunched. Under magnification, further anomalies emerged: microscopic cracks, off-center lettering, uneven reading, and more. A submission to a professional grading service confirmed that what had been found was no ordinary coin. What the collector held in their hand was, by all measurable standards, a one-of-a-kind mint error, quite possibly the only surviving specimen of a batch that had never meant to leave the Denver Mint. Error coins are not rare in and of themselves. Every minting year sees a number of misstrikes, off-center coins, double dies, and more. But not every error coin is valuable. In fact, most are discarded or never enter circulation. What sets this 1971 D dime apart is the sheer number of simultaneous errors it exhibits. It's not just a double die. It's not just a repunched mint mark. It's not just a misaligned die or a planchet flaw. It's all of these, and more, occurring in a perfect storm on a single coin. Let's dig deeper into the known error types and how they apply to this coin. First, the doubling. This is perhaps the most eye-catching feature, and one that immediately turns a regular coin into a potential treasure. The 1971 D dime in question is said to exhibit strong doubling on Roosevelt's eye, mouth, and jawline, hallmarks of a double die obverse. On the reverse, similar doubling affects the torch's flame and the word United. with some collectors claiming that it's one of the strongest examples of reverse doubling ever seen on a clad dime. Next, the mint mark. In most cases, the D mint mark is machine punched cleanly into the die before production begins. However, in rare cases, the mint mark is applied more than once, and not always in the same location. This creates what's known as a repunched mint mark, or RPM. On this coin, the D appears to have been struck multiple times, with one impression slightly higher and to the left, creating a shadow-like effect that is clearly visible even without magnification. RPMs are known to increase a coin's value significantly, especially in older denominations. But combined with other errors, they can catapult a coin into legend. Then there's the strike alignment. On this coin, the obverse and reverse designs are not perfectly aligned. This slight misalignment has led to what's known as a rotated die error, where flipping the coin over results in the reverse appearing rotated from its normal position. It's subtle, but measurable, approximately 20 to 30 degrees off. While such errors are not unheard of, they are highly collectible, especially when they appear alongside other anomalies. Another factor adding to this coin's mystique is the planchet issue. Most dimes are struck on a smooth, round blank known as a planchet, made of a copper core clad in a nickel outer layer. But for reasons unknown, this 1971 D dime may have been struck on a transitional or defective planchet. Reports suggest uneven coloration, surface bubbling, and edge inconsistencies, all signs that the metal composition may have varied from standard. This opens the door to speculation that the coin was either struck on a leftover blank from a previous year, or one that had been improperly stored or misprocessed. All of these factors create a cumulative effect. One or two errors might raise a coin's value slightly, perhaps into the hundreds or even thousands. But when you combine double dies, a repunched mint mark, strike misalignment, planchet irregularities, and perhaps even machine doubling or die cracks, you're no longer looking at a coin with a small premium. You're looking at a one-of-a-kind artifact, a product of rare circumstances that simply cannot be replicated. The 1971 D dime has captivated collectors not just because of what it is, but because of what it represents. It's a symbol of how imperfection can create immense value, of how mistakes, in the right context, can become treasures. It challenges our assumptions about everyday objects and invites us to look closer, to see the extraordinary hiding in plain sight. The market value of $13 million isn't just a number plucked from thin air. It's based on several key elements: rarity, provenance, collector demand, and the coin's certified condition. Let's examine each. First, rarity. To date, only one such 1971 D dime has been certified with this unique combination of errors. That makes it the only known specimen, a Pop 1. In grading terms, and in numismatics, rarity is everything. A single coin, even from a common date, can achieve astronomical prices if no others like it exist. Second, provenance. The coin's discovery story, ownership trail, and authentication by major grading services contribute heavily to its lore. Collectors value not just the object, but the story behind it, and this coin has a story unlike any other. Third, demand. As the rare coin market continues to explode in popularity, driven by both passionate hobbyists and high-net-worth investors, the demand for one-of-a-kind pieces is reaching fever pitch. The 1971 D dime has become a grail coin, the kind of item that doesn't just sit in a collection, but defines it. Finally, condition. Reports indicate that this dime, despite its age and supposed circulation, is in remarkably high grade, potentially mint state 67 or higher. For error coins, condition is often sacrificed in the chaos of production flaws. But in this case, the coin's preservation adds another layer of astonishment. A high-grade, multi-error, one-of-a-kind 1971 D dime? That's how legends are born. Today, we're about to uncover an astonishing story that's captivated collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. Get ready to discover the untold truth and unbelievable worth behind a seemingly ordinary piece of pocket change, the 1990 60 Roosevelt dime, a coin with a face value of just 10 cents, yet rumored to be worth as much as $10 million under extraordinary circumstances. Yes, you heard that right, $10 million for a single dime minted in Denver. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth can a coin so common, one that you might pass off without a second thought, be worth millions of dollars? What makes this tiny 10-cent piece so incredibly valuable? Is it just another numismatic myth? Or is there a deeper truth buried beneath decades of minting secrets? mechanical failures, and production anomalies stick around as we peel back the layers of minting history. Error classification, market fascination, and collector obsession that elevate the 1990-60 dime from spare change to legendary treasure. To truly appreciate the 1990-60 dime, we must begin by understanding its historical context. The Roosevelt dime series began in 1946, a year after President Franklin D. Roosevelt's death. As a tribute to his leadership and advocacy for polio research, the dime became the canvas for his legacy. Designed by John R. Sinek, the dime featured Roosevelt's left-facing profile and underwent minimal changes for decades. These dimes were minted by the billions and circulated across the country. By 1996, the series had been in production for 50 years. It was a landmark year in more ways than one. The Denver Mint, responsible for the D-Mint mark, was particularly active during the mid-90s. With the U.S. economy on a steady rise and commerce thriving, demand for coinage was high. The Mint's focus was on speed, volume, and accuracy. But sometimes, even the most meticulously controlled environments are vulnerable to errors, whether due to human oversight, mechanical failure, or pure chance. And this is precisely where the story of the 1990-60 dime takes an unexpected and riveting turn. For most people, the 1990-60 dime looks no different than any other Roosevelt dime. It features the standard design, Roosevelt's bust on the obverse, torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse, and the familiar inscriptions: "Liberty, in God we trust, United States of America, e pluribus unum," and of course, the date and mint mark. But among the millions produced that year, a tiny handful, or perhaps even just one, contains an anomaly so rare, so precise, and so significant that it has become the stuff of legend. This coin, or group of coins, is said to contain multiple errors so dramatically layered that they defy probability. We're not just talking about a typical off-center strike or a filled die. We're talking about a confluence of die cracks, doubling, misaligned dies, transitional planchets, missing clad layers, misplaced mint marks, and even potential wrong metal compositions. Imagine one coin exhibiting several of these features simultaneously, a minting miracle. If you will point, one theory suggests that the rare 1990-60 dime was struck on a foreign planchet. During this period, the U.S. Mint occasionally produced coins for foreign countries using their blanks. It's entirely plausible that a foreign planchet, perhaps smaller, thinner, or of different metallic composition, found its way into the feed tray during the production of Roosevelt dimes. If such a planchet made it through the process unnoticed, it could result in a coin that not only weighs differently but looks and feels off to the trained eye. This kind of mistake is rare and instantly piques the interest of advanced collectors. Another theory revolves around doubled dies, a condition where a coin is struck more than once, but slightly misaligned, causing the images or letters to appear doubled. In the case of the 1990-60 dime, rumors persist of a dramatically doubled obverse, where Roosevelt's profile, inscriptions, and even the mint mark appear distinctly shadowed or echoed. Doubled dies are among the most sought-after errors in numismatics because they can only occur at the die creation stage, meaning every coin struck with that flawed die will carry the same error. But when only one or two such dies exist, the rarity increases exponentially. Then there are tales of 1990-60 dimes with missing clad layers, exposing the copper core underneath the nickel shell. This kind of error can happen if the clad blank was improperly bonded or stripped during processing. Coins like this often appear duller, redder, or more bronze-like in appearance. If combined with a double strike or struck on a foreign planchet, you now have a compound error coin, a true anomaly in the numismatic universe. But perhaps the most controversial aspect of the legendary $10 million 1990-60 dime is the possibility of a mint mark error. Some researchers speculate that at least one coin was struck without a mint mark or with an incorrectly placed or malformed D. Others argue that the coin might display both a P and a D mark simultaneously, a phenomenon that could only happen if dies from two different mints were mistakenly mixed. Such an error would not only be visually stunning but historically significant, as it would break the rules of minting protocol. Numismatists often classify errors into three broad categories: planchet errors, die errors, and striking errors. Each class has its own subtypes and levels of rarity. The rumored 1990-60 dime seems to check boxes in all three categories, making it one of the most complex and unusual coins ever theorized. But while documentation is scarce and official acknowledgement is virtually non-existent, the numismatic community is abuzz with anecdotes, second-hand sightings, and tantalizing clues. The mystery deepens when you consider the market value. In the world of rare coins, value is driven by a combination of factors: rarity, demand, condition, historical significance, and visual appeal. When all of these align, especially with confirmed provenance, the sky is the limit. Look at the 1943 copper penny, the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, or the 1804 silver dollar. These coins command millions because of their rarity, controversy, and backstories. If a verified 1996 D-dime exhibiting multiple errors were to surface at auction, the bidding war could be astronomical. Some experts predict it could reach or exceed $10 million, especially if it were slabbed and authenticated by a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC. Let's imagine for a moment what it would be like to find such a coin. You're sorting through your loose change, maybe rolling coins for the bank or checking your drawer at work, and you notice something odd. The dime looks a little lighter in color, the profile of Roosevelt seems slightly shifted, the mint mark appears blurred or out of place, and something about the lettering feels off. Most people would shrug it off. But you pause. You feel the weight, look closer under a magnifying glass, and start researching. That dime in your hand might just be the legendary $1 million mistake, and what makes this all the more fascinating is the uncertainty. To this day, no single example has been definitively proven to be the $10 million 1996 D-dime. Some believe it's in a private collection, never to be revealed. Others think it may still be out there, lost in circulation, sitting in a piggy bank, or nestled inside a forgotten coffee can in someone's attic. This mystery fuels the dreams of collectors everywhere. Because unlike other $1 million artifacts locked away in museums, this treasure could literally be in your pocket right now. The search continues year after year, with coin hunters combing through their change, collectors trading tips on forums, and dealers keeping an eye out for anything unusual. Coin shows become hunting grounds. Online marketplaces like eBay occasionally light up with claims of rare dimes. And grading companies remain on high alert for submissions that hint at the legendary multi-era marvel. Adding fuel to the fire are the countless stories from everyday people who stumbled upon rare coins by sheer luck. A man in Massachusetts found a 1974 aluminum penny in a desk drawer that was later estimated to be worth 6 figures. A young girl discovered a double-dyed penny from the 1950s in her grandmother's collection and sold it for thousands. These true stories reinforce the belief that the world's rarest coins often go unnoticed until the right pair of eyes spots them. In the case of the 1996 D-dime, the legend grows stronger with every passing year. Online communities debate its existence, share high-resolution images, and analyze every nuance of the minting process. Some numismatists publish extensive blogs tracking rumored sightings, auction appearances, or grading results that suggest a rare 1996 D-dime may have slipped through unnoticed. Every new dime submitted to grading services is another chance for history to be rewritten. But even if you never find the $1 million dime yourself, there's something undeniably thrilling about the search. It's not just about money. It's about mystery, discovery, and the idea that even the smallest things, a single dime, can carry enormous value if you look closely enough. Every coin tells a story, and some tell epics. So the next time you hold a dime in your hand, especially a 1996 D, don't be so quick to spend it. Take a moment. Examine it carefully. You might be looking at more than just 10 cents. You could be holding a piece of numismatic history worth millions. Stay curious, stay passionate, and keep searching. Because legends like the 1996 D-dime remind us that treasure isn't always buried, it might be jingling in your pocket.